So what is going on, guys? I am Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another zombies video on the channel, where today we are back with a zombies Q&A, the series where I take your questions from the comment section below to do with the zombie storyline, Easter eggs, and I answer them. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, a like rating would be appreciated. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest content on the channel, but let's get right into it. Here we go, and enjoy. The first question of today is from Misty, and they say, "Hey BOA, who are the characters in Dead Ops Arcade?" The people that we play as in this game mode aren't specific, we don't know their names, they are just random soldiers, agents, and other people that we play as. Of course, Dead Ops Arcade isn't connected to the main storyline, but one of the characters is a CDC agent. The last time we played as one of them was in Nuketown. We also play as a Green Beret soldier, a Spetsnaz soldier, and an Op 40 soldier. I know those were the characters in the first one. As for the second one, which was Dead Ops Arcade 2 Cyber's Avenging, to be honest, I only played that one once for about maybe 10 or 15 minutes. I believe the characters are the same if I'm not wrong. And then if we take a look at some of the enemies which I find more interesting, we have the zombies, the prisoner zombies, the engineer zombies, the creepy crawlers, the hellhounds, the bulls, and the cosmic silverback. That was in Dead Ops Arcade 1, and in number 2 we had the zombies, the bulls, the shadow boogies, the palm zombies, skeletons, insanity elements, the parasites, the Margwar, the cyber silverback, hellhounds, reds and deads, and the spiders. I mean, half of these I've never heard of. Of course, the cyber silverback was this guy. I've never seen the reds and deads, but apparently they are just normal zombies with red goo on them. We then have the insanity elementals, which of course we just call the meatballs from Shadows of Evil. Skeletons and spiders, which we've seen previously. The shadow boogies, which is interesting because they are this from the Nightmares mode, or actually in the campaign as well, in which its name is Corvus, but in Dead Ops Arcade 2 this is the Shadow Boogie. And then the bulls, which we also saw in Dead Ops Arcade 1, a very interesting enemy. So yeah, there's not really any storyline I can really go through with these characters or the enemies. It's just supposed to be a fun arcade style shooter. Nico says, "Why is there lava under Blood of the Dead along with minecarts?" So you would have probably noticed if you've used the fast travel system in Blood of the Dead, the area underneath Alcatraz is quite noticeably different to how it is above ground. Above ground, yes, it is dark, damp, dreary, there is fire in places, lava, but underneath Alcatraz, what is under here makes above ground look, well, pretty nice. Beneath ground there is lava everywhere, and what's even more interesting is, as you say in your comment, there is a mine track with carts down here. But why is this all under Alcatraz prison? Well, the simple answer is we don't really know. We know this map takes place in Purgatory in a pocket dimension. We have things like spirits, ghost seagulls, Al, Finn, Billy and Sal, all trapped in the afterlife. Alcatraz prison in this instance is trapped in a twisted version of reality, meaning not everything in here is real. We do know that Richtofen built his laboratory underneath the prison. In order to do that, he enlisted the help of Stanley Ferguson, who was the prison guard, and the Illuminati. So building a secret facility underneath the prison couldn't have been easy, possibly, and I think it's a very far stretch, but was this minecart system used to construct that lab? Since the Illuminati had a lot to do with this place, especially with the warden and them doing satanic rituals, raising the dead, could there maybe be a link there? Because there's got to be some reason as to why these minecarts, or even why these caverns are underneath the prison. In one of his radio reels, the warden says, "I sit in my sanctuary, brandy in hand, overlooking my prize, my prison, mine, a temple of concrete and corrupted flesh, tilting on the axis of hell itself." In another one he says, "I am tired, and I have grown very disturbed, waiting for the release that was promised, but I fear will never be delivered, because they do not exist. Now, wretched are the thralls who despair in darkness. Wretched, wretched, wretched. The work will continue with or without the damn help of the Illuminati. All they do is talk and scheme and pass judgment on methods that they deem unorthodox. Well, to hell with their protection, I will awaken the island. Even if it takes every last soul in her walls. If I fail, I will be locked in here and join them all in hell." So maybe these underground tunnels and minecart system have something to do with the construction of Alcatraz, or just like the map location itself, could they possibly be based off real life? Now, if you just search in Alcatraz underground tunnels. You get a few interesting articles, there are plenty of them out there, but this one, which I will link down in the description, if you skip quite a bit of it, eventually it says, researchers discovered something amazing under one of those layers on the small island. Tunnels and buildings dating back to the American Civil War. And if you read on a little bit more, it says, these hidden underground tunnels and rooms are all that's left of the military base that was on the island, a facility built to keep San Francisco safe from the invasion. And then it also goes on to talk about the 1849 gold rush in San Francisco. So could these minecart systems and underground tunnels have something to do with that? Could they be remnants of the military base that was here before? Or more so, could these minecarts have something to do with the San Francisco gold rush? Again, that could be a far stretch, but maybe we really don't know what Treyarch were thinking, but they have to have had a reason as to why they would have added this down here besides from it taking place in a hellish state. But there are quite a few theories that you can go off, so let me know your ideas on what you think in the comment section below. The third question from FierceBeer says, hey BOA, despite the information of budget cuts, do you believe that Treyarch made the comic book style cutscenes in Alpha Omega and Tag der Toten to tease a Victor's Chronicles, since all of the cutscenes in Transit Diaries and Buried are in the same style? So I see where you're trying to go with this, but I truly do believe it is all down to budget cuts, possibly also down to lack of time as well, but the rumour has been for the longest time that Treyarch, towards the end of Black Ops 4's life cycle, DLC 3 and 4, didn't have the budget, which for me is extremely weird. These games make hundreds of millions every year. We know Modern Warfare already, the last time I read an article on it, made 600 million in, what was it, like maybe 3 days, 4 days, definitely less than a week. I don't know specifically what Black Ops 4's was, but it wouldn't have been too far off that. So I can't understand for the life of me how Treyarch couldn't have had the budget when these games make hundreds of millions. I don't know how much it costs to make a CGI cutscene, and of course, even though the games make all this money, the developers still have a budget to work on. But you're telling me a game that makes hundreds, 5, 6, 7, 800 million, there's no way a 2 or 3 minute cutscene would cost more than, I honestly don't know how much they cost, 50,000, 100,000? Not even a million? I don't know. Those numbers are so random, but they're also so minuscule compared to what this game makes, and you're saying Treyarch didn't have that? And actually, I totally forgot about microtransactions. I believe Black Ops 4 actually made over $1 billion, so budget in my mind is just something I can't comprehend, how Treyarch didn't have enough to make a cutscene. We were missing it for Alpha Omega, an intro and ending, and also Tag der Toten, an intro and an ending as well. We did have a little bit of CGI for about 2 minutes, but that whole cutscene ended up being about 7 minutes long, so yeah, I really don't know why they didn't have a budget. Like I said, possibly timing had something to do with it. We do hear a lot about developers being rushed to make games, get them out on time. I mean, I've always blamed Dead of the Night. Have you seen that damn cutscene? It's about 7 minutes long. The CGI is insane. But surely budget has to have been the reason. If I was Treyarch wanted to end this series on a high, this is something they love, something they've worked on for the past 10 years, CGI would have been the best way to do it. As you see with the Blood of the Dead ending cutscene, that's the best way to get emotions across, which is pretty difficult to do in cartoon form. If you can imagine the Blood of the Dead ending in a cartoon in a comic book style, it wouldn't have had the same effect, and I think Tag der Toten especially, or even Alpha Omega when Maxis was killed, if those were in CGI, I think a lot of people probably would have cried. I just didn't find the ending emotional, and I think mainly it is due to the comic book. I don't know, is there the possibility that Treyarch thought it would be cool, because it's not too bad, but I was definitely disappointed we didn't get full CGI. But as you say in this comment anyway, could it possibly be in that format, because Treyarch are trying to tease a Victor's Chronicles, since the cutscenes from their maps, which were Transit Diaries and Buried, were also in a comic book style as well. To that I would say no, because Alpha Omega, which was the same style, was with Primus and Ultimus, not Victus, and I just can't see them sacrificing a CGI one so that if we do get another Zombies Chronicles, it matches the one in that DLC. And I suppose that is the main question, are we going to get a Zombies Chronicles 2? That's another rumour that's been going around now for about a year. Honestly, I'm like 50-50. I think it's something that could happen because the first one was so successful. That one ended up coming out, I think it was around maybe February or March. So if we do get it, it'd be in maybe 3 or 4 months. 2 months possibly. And then looking at the maps that we haven't had remastered, it's really only Transit, Die Rise and Buried which are Victus. So could it be Victus Chronicles and possibly take place in the Dark Ether? That's something I've spoken about before, because we know at this moment in time the Transit crew have been banished back to there. I could see it taking place, the Radio Unclassified suggests that, but whether it will happen with the success of BO4, I don't think in terms of player base it did too well, and also how successful Modern Warfare is doing. So honestly, I'm still 50-50 on whether it's going to happen. I hope it does. There are still quite a few leaks on it, so we'll just have to wait and see. But there we go. That is it for today's video. As always, hopefully you have enjoyed. If you have, you know what to do. Drop a like later if you want to. If not, it's totally fine. Thank you guys for watching and supporting the channel anyway. Make sure you are subscribed. Click the bell notification icon. Leave your comments down below, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.